Hello, New Year's quilters. It is Tuesday, and I often talk to you on Tuesdays, but not often at night. I am excited to come to you tonight because it is New Year's Eve. And if you are a party animal, like I'm a party animal, you're staying home in your pajamas and quilting tonight instead of going out and partying like the young kids do. So I decided that my January color blocks quilt pattern I would release tonight at 6 o'clock, and that's what I've done. I think the description around here will have a link to the to 2025 color blocks. But just in case it doesn't, I'm going to go in the chat and I'm going to put the link in the first comment. There you go. So, if you are new and don't know what color blocks are, this is my 5th year of color blocks. Is that crazy? This is my 5th year. Back during the pandemic, I needed to sew something, but I wasn't very smart because my brain was just distracted, as I'm sure everybody else's was. So I started taking 2.5-inch scrap squares and sewing them together into 16 patches. And after I ended up with a stack of 16 patches like this, I decided probably should figure out what to do with these. Since then, I've designed about 100 quilt patterns. Of what to do with a 16 patch. So take your scraps, cut them into 2.5-inch squares, and sew them into 16 patches. If you join my color blocks class, it'll give you step-by-step instructions of how to cut your squares, how to, some tricks on that. And we'll talk about how to piece them a couple different ways. And the pressing on them doesn't matter because we don't have to match two seams. We don't have to match two together. However you get your block together, it's great. I have mine nested, so I don't have to worry about my seams on my blocks, but I don't have to press anything open. And then I usually put sashings in between my blocks so that I don't have to match these seams with these seams. I try to make these Debby proof. So when Debbie's not smart enough to sew something hard, Debby can make a color block quilt. And today I'm on day 6 of the plague that my grandchildren gave me for Christmas. It was very joyfully given to me by some very small people with very runny noses. I'm sure one of them sneezed directly into my open mouth at some point on last Saturday. So I'm on day 6. Very red nose. I apologize. This is just the best I got going. And that's a really good time to pull out quilting like this because you want to sew because it's therapeutic, but you can't follow anything hard. And, no Y seams and nesting and hard things aren't going to work whenever my head is all full of cold goo. So, it's a fun project. It's been a fun project to be a part of for 5 years. And I've met a lot of really fun quilters along the way. People look, what do you do with your scraps? So this month's quilt is called Hugs and Kisses. So I don't know if you can see there's an X and there's an O. Color Blocks 2025, all the quilts will be baby quilts. Now, you can recolor this and make it a different type of quilt if you like. So it can be a charity quilt, a small gift quilt, a wheelchair quilt. My theme for everything this year is going to be gifting quilts. So we're going to be quilting, but it's quilting to give it away mostly. So I have X's and O's. The machine quilting will come out in 2 weeks. There's a video of how I machine quilted this on my home sewing machine, in case you're new here. So I've quilted all of these quilts on my home sewing machine with video tutorials of each one. So you can join previous years if you like to see all of the content. I did not have to make any blocks because I have stacks and stacks and stacks of blocks that I make whenever I'm not feeling very smart. And then to pull this quilt together, it maybe took me an hour to piece the quilt itself because I just had to cut some sashings and sew it together. I conveniently am expecting a grandbaby in 2025, but I had this decided before I knew I was expecting a grandbaby in 2025. Everyone, we all like to give baby quilts. So I thought Hugs and Kisses, X's and O's would be a good theme. I'm at home alone most of the time. And if I'm not alone, I'm with my husband, who's not a quilter. So I brought this design up for him and I showed it to him on the computer screen, the design I had made because I designed it on the computer. And I also give you a black and white downloadable page if you want to color it in and see what the different how your coloration can change something. It's just a design page, planning page if you want to. And I said, what does this look like to you? And my engineer analytical husband was very perplexed. And I'm like, I gave him time, and he didn't know what to say. So he saw it all in black and white. He didn't see it, with the blues and the grays. I said, it's supposed to look like X's and O's. He's like, no, I could see that, but I didn't know if there was something else I was missing. So I was hoping this showed strongly enough that it was X's and O's, hugs and kisses, like we used to sign on the bottom of, XOXO on the bottom of our cards. So this is hugs and kisses for a baby quilt. If you don't have your fabric, if you don't already have blocks pieced, you can go through your scraps and cut some scraps. If you have a jelly roll, a 2.5-inch strip, each strip will give you 20 squares, I believe. 16. Yeah, it'll give you 16 squares each strip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 16 squares. And I try to have 16 different fabrics in these. I just set them in piles and sew them together. I don't strip piece any of mine because I cut all my scraps down whenever I finish a project, and I just pull out my blues, my grays, my yellows, whatever it is I'm piecing at the time. So I hope you have some fun digging into your stash tonight. Your scraps, cutting up, making some color blocks, pulling them out. Let me know what color you're planning on making, and head on over and join Debbie Brown's Machine Quilting Studio over on Facebook, because that's where I would love to see a picture. You can also join the Color Blocks Quilt Along Facebook page. I'd love to see pictures of what you're making. I would love to see what color you chose for this. I know all the young kids now, like the ones having babies, love gray with everything. So you're probably going to see a bit of gray in the quilts this year because that's what all the mamas like. But I'd love to see what you've decided, what your quilt is going to look like, and happy stitching. You can download the planning page and color it, download and print out the pattern if you're a print out a person, and then you'll have it. In a couple weeks, I will put it in the newsletter. I will put it on social media whenever the machine quilting tutorial is published. It's there. I just haven't turned it on yet. And you will hear the videos that I've been filming while I've been sick because they sound more like this. So you may be hearing videos through January, February, and March as they're spread out from anything I might have filmed now. Speaking of filming, I will be back tomorrow because I'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon, New York time, because I'm going to be giving more information on the mystery quilt along that I'm doing for Saturday. I've have my fabric pools. I've cut out and taped the fabric to each of the pages. One of my fabrics is a novelty fabric in one quilt, and I'm doing 2 of them. And my other quilt has one that's a stripe. So I'm going to talk about how to use both of those in your quilt and which fabric that might work well in. So I will be back at 2:30 tomorrow, New York time. That should show up on social media. Hopefully my voice will be almost into the male register. I think I'm below that right now. Hopefully my voice will be a little higher and my nose will be a little less red. But we'll be talking about our mystery quilt on Saturday on Blanket Fort Quilting. Fabulous name that I made up early in the pandemic. It was something I designed for my friends, my in-person real life friends that we couldn't get together, and we did this on a Friday night. So I've been holding it for you, blanket for it. Like you just want to go home and snuggle in your blanket for it. Ended up being the perfect quilt for me right now because I want to just be home and snuggled in a blanket for it. Because I'm either going to be in bed watching lousy TV on the computer or sitting here making some scrap quilts until I feel better. So I'm going to be live tomorrow giving you more information on the Blanket Fort Mystery Quilt Along, which will be this Saturday, New York time, from 1 to 4 with a new video and pattern every hour. So enjoy some yummies if you're snacking on New Year's like we are. My husband did all the prep this year since I've been down. He was like, "Oh, I've got popcorn chicken and I've got French fries, and I could eat cereal. I'm fine with that." But he's very excited to come in with new food every once in a while. Are you ready? Could you eat? Sure. So have some yummies. Have and listen to a good book, enjoy your quilting, and let's wish 2024 goodbye. For those of us for whom it was a pretty okay year, I can look back on it fondly. For those of you who cannot wait to shut the door on 24, stay awake and make sure the year finally ends. That was my 2023. We had to make sure it didn't sneak back in on us. But let's have a fresh start tomorrow and start with quilting every day. So happy quilting. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will be back here tomorrow at 2:30, tomorrow, Wednesday, January 1st, 2:30 New York time in the afternoon, and we'll talk about our mystery quilt, blanket fort quilting, which will be on Saturday, also online. And then I will be back again next Tuesday, which should be January 6th, I believe. 4th, 5th, 6th. Yes, January 6th. 7th, Tuesday, January 7th, at 2:30 in the afternoon. Sign up for my newsletter. Go to debbybrownquilts.com, scroll to the bottom, sign up for my newsletter, and you can definitely check there for the times and dates and click on the links for where I'll be speaking live. I'm not normally this much online, but I had a few projects for the first of the year I wanted to make sure I was communicative about. Let's see, Madeline. Hello, Madeline. Happy New Year. I hope you have a wonderful one. And I will see you tomorrow in the new year. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and happy quilting.